Hello, my name is Eric and welcome to my tutorial for the Linux terminal. I personally am using the Apple environment, and Apple is based on Linux, so Apple and Linux behave the same way. If you're on a Microsoft computer, you might want to use Cygwin, but there are probably some other ways to get a Linux environment as well. If you're on Microsoft, also be warned, a command prompt in the Linux terminal may look the same, but the commands are different. So this is for the Linux terminal. It'll work in Cygwin on Windows, and it will work in the terminal on Linux and the Apple operating system, Mac OS. All right. So to get going, the first thing we want to do is we're looking at a terminal, and we have the blinking icon in front of us, and we want to list the files. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to type the list command, which is ls. A lot of commands are shortened down from a word. So from the word list, we get ls, and that will list the contents of the directory. So ls followed by enter will list the contents. And we can see everything I have here in my home directory. And that is something to note. When we open a terminal on Linux, it automatically brings us to our home directory. All right. So we might want to do more things with ls. ls, we can give it options. And the way we do that is we type ls space, and then we're going to do the minus sign. Sometimes I'm going to call this a dash. In fact, most of the time I'll just say ls dash, and that means ls followed by a space, and then the dash. And the first option we're going to look at is ls-l. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell ls, we're going to give it the L option. Sometimes we call this a flag. So the dash is flagging to the ls program that we want to output everything in the long format. So it's ls-l, so we're giving ls the L flag. All right, when I hit enter, it'll print everything in the long format. And the long format means it's giving us more information for each file. I would have to actually scroll up to try and get everything here. Yeah. All right, so we see some columns of information. The first column is related to the permissions of this file. And the first letter of the first column is the most important one, at least for me. And that's telling us, is it a directory or not? If it is a D, it's telling us a directory. If it's a dash, it's telling us it's not a directory. And if you see another letter there, it means it's something different. That's not a topic of this tutorial. All the other letters we're going to ignore for now. They have to do with the types of permissions, who can read and write them. Those you often, for now, just manage those through the visual environment. I'm focusing on things that really are easiest in the terminal. All right, the next column is a number, and then we see ESEVRE. On your computer, you'll see something different. It should be your username. And then we have staff, and that would be the group that I'm part of. So on my computer, my username is ESEVRE, and I'm part of a staff group. And then we see the file size, and then we see the date of creation. So I have a new directory that was created on October 2nd at 1442. So at 2:42 this afternoon, I made the new directory. That's actually for this tutorial. And we can see that a couple of these are, I only have two full files, and the rest are folders. So we have this extentfigure.png, and we have this stty1.txt. The rest are directories. Now, I may want to make this print out a little prettier when I do my ls. So one of my favorite ls commands, which this doesn't always work on Linux, but it works on Macintosh, and I'm using a Mac. So if we do ls-G, on Ubuntu I believe this works, and there are various types of Linux where this will work. This might not work for you. And with the ls-G, it color codes the output. And here we can see that purple corresponds to the output for a directory, and then green is the output for a file. So that's kind of cool. We can also list in the long format with colors. So here you can see I'm giving ls the L flag and the G flag. So I'm doing ls-L-G. Now remember, I didn't say space, even though there is a space. It's ls space dash g space dash, or I'm sorry, space dash l space dash g. And this will list. And the order doesn't matter. I can put the G flag first and the L flag second. I can also combine the flags. I can do L capital G with no spaces, just one dash. And that will work. And I can do it in both orders, LG or GL. Now, if you want to return to a command you just did, we can skip typing by just hitting the up arrow. So if I hit up arrow, you can see I did the ls-gl. Before that, I did lg. Before that, I did the G and L separate. And before that, I did the L and G separate, but in the opposite order. So these are just a couple ways that we can list the contents of the directory. And I want to point out that sometimes we want to see the hidden files. When we type ls, it's only going to show us the regular files. So if we type ls-a, it's going to give us access to hidden files. Or it's going to show us the hidden files, I should say. We have access to them now. It's just when we list, we don't see them. So ls-a is going to show us all the hidden files. On Linux, the way we indicate a hidden file is we start it with a period, with basically a decimal point, or the dot, or whatever we want to call that symbol. I just call it a period or dot. So if the file name begins with a dot, it's a hidden file in Linux. And I've got quite a few hidden files. Some of these I can probably get rid of, but that's just how it is. So with the hidden files, we can combine this flag as well. We can put the G there, and we'll see, oh, some of these are directories, so they are hidden directories, and other ones are just hidden files. Now I want to change directories. We know a few things about how to list. We can list all the files, and we can list them in a long format. But let's say we want to enter into another directory. So we want to change directory. So I want to go into my new directory. So to enter a directory, we can hit CD, and that's going to be for change directory. Then we type out new directory. And now we can see at the bottom of my terminal, there's a little bit of a difference here where it says new directory, where it used to have just the tilde. And the reason is the tilde means you're in your home directory. If you're not in your home directory, it's going to list the name of the directory you're in. So now in the new directory, I can hit ls. I'm going to color code it because I like it that way. And we can see I have a directory here called new directory. So inside of new directory, I have a new directory. And then I also have a text file. Okay, so that's what's inside of here. Now I want to go back to my home directory. Well, there are two ways to go back to the home directory. The first one we can see, if I do the AG, I'm going to do ALG. I want to list all the files in long format and color coded. All right, so here we can see our first directory choice, the first thing listed is a single dot. The second thing listed is a double dot. The third thing listed is the ls.txt file, and then we have a new directory. Well, the single dot and the double dot they're blue, so that means they're directories on my computer. And what they really are is the single dot is referring to the current directory that we're in, and the double dot is referring to the parent directory, the directory above us in the directory structure. So if you remember, we came to the new directory from our home directory. So if we want to go to the parent, we can hit cd ... and that'll bring us from our current directory back to the parent directory. Now, if we want to see what directory we're in, there's a nice command called pwd, and that is for the present working directory. Whatever current directory we're in, the present directory we're in, that will tell us. So I'm in users esevery. That's because I went to my home directory. Here I can hit ls, and we can see, we have a new directory. So from my present directory, I can change directories to the new directory. Now, if you don't want to type the entire name of the directory you're moving to, you can start typing the name and hit tab. And when you hit tab, it's going to complete the name as best it can. Alright, now I only had one directory that started with new, so I just needed to type new. Now in here, when I list everything, we can see I have a new directory. So if I want to go into this new directory, I can change directories. And then if I just type NE and I hit tab, it's going to realize, oh, only one thing starts with NE. You want to go to new directory. Now when I'm in the new directory, there's nothing in here. It's just the directory itself. But from this directory, I can list the contents of the parent by typing ls ... I can even list the contents of the parent's parent by doing ls ... /... So now you can see I can list up 2 directories. I can go up 3 directories if I want. I don't know what's there, but not... Oh, okay, a few different accounts that I have. But yeah, you can see how easy it is to list the contents of directories using this. Remember, I said that the home directory can also be represented by a tilde. So if I type the tilde, I can type ls tilde, and that's going to also list the home directory. So ls ... for the parent, and ls tilde for the home directory. Now, no matter what directory you're in, you can always change directories to the home directory by typing cd tilde. Or if you type cd with nothing, that will also bring you back to the default or home directory where you started. All right, so let's see here. We've talked about how we can list files by typing ls. We've talked about how we can change directories with the cd. And we can cd to a new directory. Look at what's in there. We can cd back to where we came from with the cd ... And the reality is when you're navigating, most of the time you're going to use cd ... or cd directory name. If you're like me, you're going to use tab to complete everything. If a bunch of things have the same name, if I try to do cd n tab, if you hit tab 2 times, you can see, do I want to go to NLTK data or do I want to go to new directory? Well, I want to go to new directory, so I have to type a little bit more. Then it will complete everything for me. And now I can use my PWD to say, oh, yep, this is where I am. It's where I want to be. So I think with some practice, it won't be too difficult to better understand how we can change directories. You know, just with practice, you'll get it and it'll become more natural. In my next tutorials, I'm going to assume you're a bit more comfortable, so play around with these. And in my next tutorial, I'm going to kind of build on this ability to change directories and list what's in the directories. All right, I hope this was useful. Thank you.